Hello and welcome, guests, viewers at home, and Toastmasters. Not necessarily in that order, or certainly in that order. It's my pleasure to call up our president. He started off in the Big Apple, now he resides in Silicon Valley. Let me call up our president, Rick Starr.
Thank you, Will. Honored guests, golden speakers, and viewers at home. I want to thank all the guests for coming tonight. We're happy to have you. Normally when guests come, we ask them each to give a 5 to 10 minute speech. I assume you've all prepared that, but we're kind of crowded tonight, so we won't do that. What I'd like to ask you to do is each of the guests stand up and just say who you are and where you're from. Let's start here.
My name is Ethel Paris, and I am from Iowa.
Good for you. Good place to be.
My name is Ami Sain, and I'm originally from the Gambia, but I'm a resident of Iowa.
My name is Ashley Veerkamp, and I'm from the Netherlands.
I'm Dr. Jean Schmidt-Wilk. I'm the professor who brings her class once a year.
Hi everyone, my name is Celeste, and I'm from Chicago. Hi everyone, I'm Betsy, and I'm from Michigan.
My name is Carlos, and I'm from Mexico.
I'm Haley, originally from Indiana. I live here now.
Hello, my name is Johns. I am from Wisconsin.
Hi, my name is Logan. I'm from California.
Okay, thank you all for coming. Welcome. You'll notice we'll do a lot of clapping here. We encourage you to participate. In all the moments that we're clapping, we encourage you to clap too. For those of you who have one of these devices, please make sure it's turned off. Not in buzz mode, but off. We don't want to distract our speakers. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communications and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. We're going to take a little more time today to explain the different aspects of the meeting, what we're doing in each phase. And now I'd like to start by introducing our Toastmaster for this evening, Jean Symington Craig.
Jane, did you give them some instructions, advanced instructions on the importance of clapping?
Oh, no, not in that.
Okay, well, they picked up very quickly, looks like.
Great group.
So love to have all the guests here. You're going to see us clapping a lot, generally before and after, and just follow the leads of the people that are the members here, but you almost can't go wrong with clapping. Okay. And it really makes the person up here feel good as well. So we want you to be an active, supportive audience, so you have a role. Okay. As Toastmaster, it's my job to oversee the meeting. We are going to have role players. We had a little bit of illnesses. I guess we get some spring colds happening, so some of us are wearing double hats. But we're going to introduce our role players. It'll help keep us on track and provide some services for our meeting tonight. Our first role player I'd like to introduce is our timer. And who is our, it's Art. Okay, and our timer is Art Atkinson. Art, would you please explain your role today?
Yes, my job is to keep track of the time of each person who speaks this evening and to report on that at the end. And there are some guidelines. We have prepared speeches that are usually 5 to 7 minutes in length. Tonight we have one longer speech at between 10 and 15 minutes length. Here, this one. So we're having one prepared speech tonight at 10 to 15 minutes in length. In order for the speaker to know where he stands relative to his time, because we don't want speakers to go over time, we'll have timing lights. The timing light for the 10 to 15 minute speech will be green at 10, yellow at 12:50, 12 minutes, 30 seconds, and red at 15 minutes, and it will stay on until the speaker is done. There are also shorter speeches that we call table topics, impromptu speeches, 1 to 2 minutes in length. The green goes on at 1 minute, the yellow at 1 minute 30, and the red at 2 minutes. Evaluations are 3 to 4 minutes in length, 2 to 3 minutes in length. The green goes on at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30, and red at 3 minutes stays on. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Okay. And just to our guests, if you happen to come up here and do table topics, impromptu speaking, which could happen, that's where the lights are. You're going to be wanting to see. Once you get to green, that means you've done 1 minute, and that means you're good. Yellow is 1.5 minutes, and red is 2, and you have 30 seconds after that to bring it home. And if you go after 30 seconds after that, you are DQ'd. We don't actually do this to you, just to be clear, but you are.
It feels like that when the timer starts clapping,
Yeah.
indicating that you should wrap
So,
it up.
so those are where the lights are. So you want to keep an eye on those. All right. Next, thank you, Art. Next is our grammarian, and I'm putting on that hat, and I'm using a couple of words that I hear misused all the time. As a grammarian, I have 2 jobs. I am to introduce the word of the night, and also to take note of any really creative word usage or language usage, and also usage that maybe needs a little work, just to bring that up. Again, and this is all about being supportive and helpful and like that. So, words I wanted to point out is nauseous. Now, people say this all the time and they use it incorrectly. They say, I feel nauseous, and they mean, what they're trying to say is I feel kind of sick to my stomach, or whatever you said just made me feel sick to my stomach. And that's not what it means. It actually means loathsome or nasty, like bad. And so anyway, I picked up just, as a girl, her appearance after the botched hair job was nauseous, meaning she looked really bad. Like whatever the dye was, it didn't work. Okay. Versus nauseated. So that's what the word is that you want to be using when you're trying to say you feel upset in your stomach or don't feel good, is nauseated. And that's the upset stomach, sick feeling. So, and a usage in a sentence would be, I did so poorly, I felt nauseated afterwards. Okay? So what you're going to want to do is use either of those words correctly. Okay, thank you. Thank you, grammarian. Okay. Next is our counter, and fulfilling that role today is going to be Emery Styron. Emery, would you tell us what you'll be doing?
I not only record ahs, but ums, uhs, likes, you knows, so, buts, and tongue clicks, xeroxes, which is repeats, and false starts. There will be a fine levied of $10 per infraction.
Whoa.
So see me after the meeting. I do accept credit card. Members know that that won't happen. And I will give a report on these at the end of the meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. point out, those are words that you don't want to use. You don't want to use them to fill in the spaces in your talking, and that's why they're called filler words. So we're looking for a low usage on that. Don't get confused and think you're supposed to use them. Great. All right, I just noticed we don't have our general evaluator. Will, do you have any thoughts on that? What could we do with a general evaluator? We have one evaluator. Or no, we'll have two evaluators. I could do it if you want.
Just one evaluator, there's only one speech.
Well, Toastmasters and table topics.
Right. Yeah, want to do it?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. That's the Toastmaster spirit. Flexibility, can do. So the general evaluator will hear from later in the meeting, and I will be looking at evaluating our evaluators and seeing how our meeting went. So, our joke master is, I'm listed here, but I did a wifely delegation to Dan Craig behind the camera. So Dan Craig is going to be telling a joke that actually he has presented here a while back, but it's really good. And he gave it to me again. He told me not to say it was really good because then it makes up these high expectations. But I laughed, so, and I'd heard it before, so I thought it was still good. And a lot of you haven't heard it, so even if you don't get it, laugh, okay? Just do it. All right. Now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to head into our prepared speech for the night. That is going to be Rick Starr, and his evaluator is Will Burns. Please help me warmly welcome up Will.
Thank you, Jean. All of you are in for a very special treat tonight. This is a very rare speech that is only given about once a year. Generally, we choose a speech from the Toastmasters Successful Club Series. This is a series of presentations addressing the subject of quality in club meetings. Members will learn the skills and standards they must strive for in order to achieve an outstanding club. I can attest, having seen some clubs, the last thing you want when you come in that door is to have a nauseous experience seeing things fall apart. It's okay to be up here and feel nauseated, so long as you don't see a nauseating experience. Tonight, Rick is giving a presentation from the club series entitled How to Be a Distinguished Club. It is 10 to 15 minutes long. Rick has been a member of Toastmasters and the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club since 2013. He is also a member of the Cambridge Techmasters Corporate Club. Please join me in warmly welcoming Rick Starr.
Thank you, Will. I can't express what pleasure it gives me to be introduced using the word nauseated and variations thereof. So tonight I'm going to talk about how to be a distinguished club. What's a distinguished club? I'll give you a hint. Something to do with all these ribbons here. I'll give you another hint. It has something to do with this lectern with all these plaques on it. Honored guests, fellow Golden Speakers, and viewers at home. Normally when we give speeches in Toastmasters, they're a little shorter than this, and they often deal with something personal in our life. But tonight I'm going to give an educational speech which explains a little bit about how to achieve goals in Toastmasters. The series is called the speech is called How to Be a Successful Club. Toastmasters has two educational tracks. One is the communication track, and the other is the leadership track. Toastmasters has a reputation for developing communication skills, but actually in Toastmasters you develop both communications and leadership skills. There are various stages along this. Each of these is an award. The leadership track, competent leader, and something more advanced, advanced leader, bronze, then advanced leader, silver. Competent communicator, you give 10 speeches, and each of these other awards you give 10 speeches plus one or two other requirements. Once you've achieved certain requirements or certain awards, and once the club receives these awards, the club is eligible to become a distinguished club. And this is important for three reasons, or I'm going to tell you three things about this. Exactly what is the Distinguished Club program, how it benefits the club, and how it benefits you as an individual. So one thing to become a Distinguished Club, at the year end, at the end of the Toastmasters year, you have to have at least 20 members in your club. And we're close to 20 members, we just need one or two more, and then we'll meet that requirement. Or a net growth of at least 5 new members. So if you had 10 members, get 5 new ones, that counts also. Now there are 10 club goals, and each of these counts as 1 point towards Distinguished Club. The first goal is getting 2 people to complete the Competent Communicator Manual. This is the first manual you start when you're in Toastmasters. It has 10 speeches, 10 presentations. Each one of these projects teaches another lesson about public speaking. Now, when you go through this manual, the subject of the speech is entirely up to you, but you are encouraged to follow the objectives of the speech. And as you start out and go through it, you're learning all these different aspects of public speaking. So you get 1 point for that. You get another point for 2 more CCs. So the first point is for 2 people who complete their CC. The second is for the third and fourth person who completes their CCs. And ACB, ACS, or ACG are Advanced Communication Awards. And so you get 1 point for anyone who completes one of these. And these awards, you have to do 10 speeches. It can be from different manuals, different types of speeches. Another point is for 1 more Advanced Communicator Award. So the purpose of this, as you can see, is to allow the members to all develop, to achieve different goals during the Distinguished Club program. Another goal is 1 Leadership Award, Competent Leader, Advanced Leader Bronze, Advanced Leader Silver, or Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest award, and you get 1 point for 1 more Leadership Award. Now, club goals, you have to bring new people in, so you get a point for 4 new members, you get a point for 4 more new members, and then there's a couple of administrative things. You have to send officers to officer training, and you have to pay your dues on time and elect officers on time. And there's different recognition. Receiving the Distinguished Club Award, you have to achieve 5 out of those 10 awards, which is quite an accomplishment. To receive Select Distinguished, you have to achieve 7 out of those 10 goals, 7 points. And the highest level is the President's Distinguished Club Award. You have to earn, I shouldn't say receive, you have to earn 9 out of 10 points. Funnily enough, we have the record of this club, the Golden Speakers Club. We were chartered in 1989, was that right? I think 1989. We just had our 25th anniversary. And it took us a little while to get going, but every year, starting in 1994, all the way to the present, we've gotten the awards, and most of them have been President's Distinguished Club. I'm very proud of the fact that this club is a successful club. For more than 20 years, we've been the most successful club in Iowa. There were a couple of times here we tied with another club, but most of the time we earned it on our own. And the years that are highlighted in yellow, those are the years we won this, what's called the traveling lectern. And this is given to any club that achieves all 10 goals for a distinguished club and is the first one to do it. So typically, clubs take a year to do this. In order to win this, we've had to do this in 6 months. So again, I'm very proud of this club. I'm proud to be a member of this club. And I'm doubly proud because members of this club helped charter the club. I work at Cambridge, and we have a club, an internal club, and the members here helped mentor this club, helped mentor that club, and now that club is a strong club also. So the Distinguished Club program, how it benefits the club is you set goals. You have to understand the rules, and you have to create a club success plan. And what a club success plan is, you list the 10 goals and you track them. First of all, you have to get people who will do them. Then you track people's individual progress. You encourage them. You make it visible so everyone knows what they're doing. And the club success plan and this reporting on this, it helps determine how a club can meet the 10 goals, and it encourages people. If you ever are kind of leery of doing something, just make it public that you're going to do it, and then you're committed to it. And that's one of the benefits of having this club success plan. It allows the club to set additional goals. Our club, we reach Distinguished Club Award every year, but we also have special events that are open to the public, and we plan these. This is part of our club success plan. We also hold contests here. Toastmasters twice a year has a series of contests, speech contests, one in the fall and one in the spring, and we hold them. We have the club level, then the area level, and it goes all the way up to state level. Again, it outlines strategies for achieving these goals. Part of it is, if you're managing the Distinguished Club program, there's a little salesmanship involved. You have to convince people to do this. And it identifies the resources a club might use to help achieve these goals. What's in it for me? One of the benefits of achieving a Distinguished Club award is that you get to set personal goals, you have help in achieving them, and you get to achieve these goals. Also, new members, they enliven the club. You have new members, they have different speaking styles, they have different stories, bring a different energy into the club. And any club is going to have a normal turnover, 20% maybe. Here in Fairfield, it's a little more than that because we have university students and there's more of a turnover with them. So we have 20 to 30% turnover every year, and so we have to get the club. If you're a club member, how can you help? You have to help find new members. What does this mean? You don't have to go door to door. You don't have to wear a sandwich sign walking around town. Just talk to people about it. It's good to have a couple of minutes speech to just saying what Toastmasters is. And when you talk about Toastmasters, you don't have to get into all the details of the awards and the levels. Just explain to people how you like it. It's been good for you. Have fun. Achieve educational awards. Be trained as a club officer. It's getting to the time of the year where there's going to be a turnover in officers. Everyone in the club is a volunteer. In fact, almost everyone in Toastmasters is a volunteer. So we'll be looking for new people to take over the officer responsibilities. Again, how do you benefit? New members, new ideas. New members, new personalities. Educational growth, improved speaking with new members, improved leadership skills, and becoming a distinguished club, you gain recognition. I understand this could have been a little too much you may want to know about Distinguished Club Program, but it explains that Toastmasters has the ability to help you reach your goals, your personal goals and your professional goals. And Toastmaster not only teaches leadership skills, but communication skills. Thank you.
So this is part of, it's kind of an internal club exercise, so guests, thank you for being here. This is where Rick has now put it out there, and we're gonna be looking for our club member heroes who are going to step up and fulfill those goals and at the same time fulfill their own personal educational progress. So that's, members, you're now alert, this is where we're going, and part of our strategy is we do this early in the year so that when other clubs are halfway through the year, by November, December, we're done, and then we rack up another one of these that is, you know, first in the district. That's what this is, first in the district, which is basically Iowa. So we have this formula down, we work it, we execute on it, and we're, you know, we're indomitable. We actually make other clubs nauseated when they hear our name because we're good at it. But that's, you know, humbly speaking, that means our members are good too. So. All right, let's have, I guess we'll have 2 minutes. Yes. So our timer is going to give us 2 minutes. Everyone has these little papers that say evaluation on them. And this is where you give just 2 minutes, write up some comments for Rick. Doesn't have to be professional or anything. Just let him know what you saw, possible suggestions for what might improve his speech again. This is how we help each other grow. Okay, very good. Make sure before you leave tonight that you put those into Rick's hands, so later when he's having his milk and cookies before bed, he has something he can read, and it's always fun to read those. Okay.
Especially with milk and cookies.
Especially with milk and cookies. Okay. And evaluations, by the way, are just personal opinion, so don't worry about whether you're right or wrong. It's just your feedback. Okay. We only have one speech tonight. Mr. Timer, did our speaker qualify?
Yes, we did.
Okay, great. Since we only have the one speaker, we're not going to vote. So we'll just acknowledge that Rick made it on time, and we'll give him appropriate awards later. Now I'd like to call up our general evaluator, who has made it here. Great, thank you. Santoria Rush, and she'll be conducting the next part of the meeting. Santoria Rush.
Hey, good evening, guests, fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. Welcome to Toastmasters. Tonight I'm your general evaluator. This part of the meeting we will call Will up to evaluate Rick's speech.
Santoria, thank you. It's always challenging to evaluate any speaker. Thankfully, we have guidance both in speaking and in evaluations, and I'll be using the evaluation guide for this speech tonight. How effective was the speaker's introduction in helping the audience to understand the purpose of the series and the presentation itself? Well, for me, I thought it was tough to break down the DCP, but Rick did a great job of giving us a nice taste of that. What is it about? Well, it's about these ribbons over here and about this lectern right here. Was the presenter adequately prepared? Rick, to my eyes, was comfortable and confident. These are both strong signs of adequate preparation. Did the speaker display the visuals smoothly and at the appropriate times? How could he improve in this regard? I feel the visuals were displayed quite smoothly. And I'm going to do something here that I often hear Rick champion, but I rarely do myself. Sometimes you don't need to say something better to do, you can just suggest something that could be done differently. So my suggestion for you, Rick, that you could do differently if you so chose, was to show us a slide at the very start, before the list, maybe somebody power pose, ready to go out there and embrace success. What could the speaker have done differently? Well, this actually, I do have a suggestion, which is final slide, close with a call to action or a powerful statement to fire us up and keep us going. What did I like about the presentation? Well, I liked a lot about it. I liked how he wrote down in very simple steps what we could do. How to benefit ourselves, how to benefit our community, how to benefit the club as a whole. I've seen Rick up here many a time delivering hilarious tales and sage evaluations. This speech tonight, while lacking in some of that sizzle of those other speeches, was clear evidence of the frequent yeoman's work that he does here for the club. Always a pleasure to see you, Rick, and I'm looking forward to your next speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Will. Now we start the next part of our meeting tonight, and that is the table topics portion of our meeting. Table topics are impromptu speeches that anyone can participate, so our guests are free to participate. And to explain more, I'll call to the front our table topics master, Dennis.
For table topics, as explained in terms of time, you guys are going to have a minimum of 1 minute. At least you must explain for 1 minute what you will be saying. And you guys have a maximum of 2.5 minutes, at which for the first minute, after 1 minute goes, you'll have a green light popping up. At 1.5 minutes, you'll have yellow light, and at 2 minutes, you'll have a red light. There are a series of questions that I have, and you guys can be free to choose whatever you want from different categories. These are just impromptu speeches. They're just for fun. I highly encourage any guests that feel the courage to come up and try out some table topics for us. And Marco can start too.
Somebody else wants.
Yep.
Start with a member.
Yeah. It'll be good. We start with the member.
Yeah.
And then you have 30 seconds usually, so I'm going to give a question to Marco. And what's going to happen is he'll have 30 seconds to think about it. And he can respond. categories, so we may have quite a bit of time today. The categories are random, politics, celebrities, people, behavior, food/animals, fashion, travel, nature. You got it, behavior, man, you got it. Decided. What is one habit that you would like to pick up or to break?
It's kind of an interesting question. Recently, last 2 years, I've been started working on myself, and I changed a lot of the bad habits that I didn't like in myself. I started changing. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I will fall down, and then it takes some time, and then I have to get back on the horse. But recently, when I think about that question, no, really, actually, I'm doing all that I want to do right now. I started recently getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go running. When it's pitch dark, I just go to the forest and challenging myself. I look for every opportunity to challenge myself. Like even now, I raise my hand because I want to step out. Every time I want to step out of my comfort zone. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Every time I feel like I'm afraid to do something, I want to do it immediately. Even though I feel fear, I want to do it in spite of the fear. But instead of me talking what I want to do or not do, I just want to challenge all of you. That whatever you have to, something that's stopping you to live the life that you want to live, give it a chance, maybe 10 days and see how it's going to feel. Just after 10 days, just do something small. And if you see that some change in you, that something is different, why not give it a shot? Why not reinforce and make new connections and just, you'll see how life will change. Not overnight, but it will change over time. Thank you.
Any other volunteers? Need volunteers? Jean? Random, politics, celebrities,
Animals, food.
food and animals. Okay. This is a more surprisingly pessimistic tone, despite the fact it's Easter. What is, in your opinion, the most useless food or the most useless animal? Good luck.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. Honestly, I have been to amusement parks a lot of times growing up. I am completely baffled by the attraction of cotton candy. The only thing it has going for it is it looks kind of cool, all sort of swirly like that. Does everyone know what I'm talking about with cotton candy? It's that stuff that looks like pink fiberglass on a cardboard thing. You try to eat it, it gets all over your face because it's not a easy thing to approach. It's sticky, so after it melts on your face, it's all over your face and you're sticky. It doesn't even taste that good. It's so daggone sweet that, you know that feeling you get when your hair stands on end, when it's just too daggone sweet? That's what cotton candy is. It's just a miserable experience from the beginning to the end. And you stand there and it's all hot and they're twirling it around, and then they give you this thing, and then it's some exorbitant price on top of that, and you actually feel nauseated for the rest of the evening because you ate this thing. And then your teeth are rotting because of the sugar. There's just nothing going for it. So, Mr. Table Topics Master, I have to say that in terms of the most useless food, and there are a lot of useless foods around, cotton candy really takes it. It takes the cake. It's even sweeter and worse.
That's a great example of some great adjectives we can use to describe an object. What are some other volunteers? Need some more volunteers. Got plenty of topics. Got Will. Okay, random, politics, celebrities.
Politics.
Politics, okay. If there was one law or bill right now that you could pass at the federal level, what would it be? Explain your reasoning.
If I could pass one bill at the federal level, it's not even close. I would pass that all laws be reviewed and have a sunset period. Because whatever your political stance, or even your apolitical stance, if you don't have one, laws always start with the best of intentions, at least in any sense. They start to uplift us, to protect us from something, or to enrich somebody who feels they rightfully deserve to be enriched. However, they often go past that. You know, we have many subsidies that are useful, but that have now become an integral part of our Iowa economy. And I cannot look in the face of the camera and say, I need to deprive farmers, hardworking Iowa farmers, of their subsidies. But yet, I can't deprive the rest of the American people from the right to not put money towards corn subsidies, particularly if they don't like corn and they have strong stances on, say, GMO corn or soybeans. So that's why I think it's important that even with the best of intentions, that we review the laws on the books periodically and do a little pruning. Thank you.
You guys gotta go. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I'll do it. All right.
We have random, celebrities, people, fashion, travel, nature, Easter. Two more, just two more.
Okay.
Political philosophy and educational philosophy.
I think I'll take travel.
Travel.
Yeah.
Good topic.
Okay.
This is a broad question.
Mira.
Mira, thank you for.
Where would you travel in the world if you could go anywhere for a vacation? And why?
I have traveled quite a bit in my 19 years already. I was born in India, I grew up in New Zealand, and now I'm studying in the US. So already I've had a lot of experience in traveling. But I have been to one place that I really, really love. That was Europe. I went there for 3 months on a school exchange in Switzerland, and I absolutely loved it, and I didn't see enough of it at all. So a big part of me really wants to go back and experience more of Europe and enjoy and live the lifestyle that the people live over there, because it's so different and unique than anything that I've experienced living here in the United States or in New Zealand. I did get one of my favorite parts of Europe is the old buildings and architecture that they have, and old parts everywhere in Europe that they have it. They have beautiful churches,
such extravagant detail and paintings all up on the ceilings. I love the different cuisines that you can have over there. I loved going to a small town in France called Colmar and had these little coconut warm pastries that were absolutely delicious on a cold winter day. I enjoyed sailing on those little boats in Venice, and there's nothing more than I would rather do than go back to Europe, because that's just one of my favorite places in the world. Thank you.
It's great to hear all the adjectives again explained in that answer. Some more guests. Some good pictures in my head now. More places I want to go. Let's see, some people are smiling. They're willing to go. They want to go. Just gotta go like this a little bit.
Big guys.
Logan,
What's up?
you've been volunteered.
If you faint, we'll get you back to your seat.
Yeah.
Oh, if I fit. Okay, cool.
Okay, so we got random, celebrities, people. Again, I'll go through a long list. Oh, fashion, nature, Easter, political philosophy, and education.
Okay, nature, please.
Nature.
Yeah.
Okay. Logan, if you can choose between or among the forest, a glacier, the prairie, or a beach, where would you go to feel most peaceful?
So like, honestly, I would reject all of those. I was in the military, and we basically camped for like 4 years straight. You know, like paid to camp outside and not enjoy any creature comforts or anything like that. And since then, I've just really enjoyed air conditioning, being inside of a house and using like, you know, utensils and all that good conventional stuff. And I've like done basically everything I can to like just completely stay out of nature. That's actually why I picked this topic, because I knew it'd be really easy to talk about. And yeah, how long do I have to? Okay. So yeah. Anyway, so nature, like, you know, I got out. And my dad was always trying to get me to go hiking with him, and you know, I'd just do anything I could to avoid the situation. It's just so boring. Why? Like, go walk for fun? I don't understand. Anyways, thanks guys.
I like it. It's good. It's good. Everybody's thinking outside the box. Nice and creative answers. I like it. I like it. Well done. Okay, guys. Guests have been fantastic. Some more. We have some people are progressively being volunteered, but we need somebody to just slightly lift their hand a little bit.
Well, give them a chance. They're thinking. Thank you. Oh, back row. Back row doesn't save you. Already? Come on, just give it a shot. Give it a shot.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Dennis.
Yep.
Okay,
And your name
Betsy.
again was Betsy. Okay,
Nice to
great.
meet you.
Yep. And so let's go over the topics again. Long lists. Random celebrities. We have fashion, Easter, political philosophy, and educational philosophy.
I can't take nature because you took it. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I choose nature thow.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go for it, I suppose.
No.
Again.
Could you say it again?
You're supposed to. You're supposed to. Okay, random. celebrities, people, fashion. Okay. Who would you be for a day if you could choose anyone to be for a day? Could be dead or alive. You can bring him back to life.
I can bring him back to life.
Back to life.
So like dead or alive?
Yeah.
Okay, alive,
Anybody.
dead.
Anybody.
Honestly? Okay, and how much time do I have?
1 minute.
You have 30 seconds to prepare.
Okay.
And then you
Remind me your name, please.
I'm Betsy. My name is Betsy, Betsy.
That's me. Thank you.
Yes. Actually, you don't need to prepare for this one. I think I've had about 30 years to prepare for this one. And the truth is, I wouldn't be anybody else except for myself. Coming onto this planet and seeing that human experience in action and living it as my own individual is living it, like I just realized, wow, why attempt to be or desire to be anybody else but oneself if we get to essentially come on and express slightly differently than anybody else because we're unique. We move differently, we sing differently, we express differently, we live differently, we stand differently, we sleep differently. And if I'm not going to do what I do best, which is simply being the most clumsy, awkward human being on the planet, who else is going to do it, right? And so if Johns isn't perhaps going to be the most sometimes stoic guy, but an incredibly intelligent genius at the same time, then who else is going to do it? I don't know if Marco can live up to that. But maybe you can in your own genius because you stood up here and you motivate people and you do that. Or Logan, who's looking away, being such an incredibly humorous individual who is so earnest and wonderful in nature and by nature, how ironic. Yeah, just like, so, you know, with these qualities, with these differences, I would absolutely choose to be myself every single time. Yeah, I work too hard at trying to figure out who I am to not be who I am. So that's my answer. Thank you.
How are we doing for time?
Okay. Let me ask Susanna, how, should we need to get another evaluator in the mix for you?
Well, I'm okay.
You're doing okay?
A little
We're at
extra.
6 people.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do a couple more.
Come on, okay.
The ice is breaking.
Yep.
Tommy would like to go.
We're volunteering her and her topic.
More volunteers.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Random celebrities, fashion, Easter, political philosophy, and educational philosophy.
Which is fashion.
Fashion, nice. There is a saying that goes, you dress up for the job that you want, not necessarily the job that you have. Do you think, in your experience, that dressing up significantly improves your performance in anything work related?
Yes, it does. Well, we learn at such a young age that dressing up and appearance matter a lot. Since high school, we are taught to dress up for the occasion. So like dressing up for the job you want is very important because sometimes employees or big bosses look for the appearance because that's what sells the product. So when you walk into an office where people work and where like big bosses are sitting and looking, they always want to see the most professional look. Like the most professional look can be really elegant and simple. You can just wear a suit and walk in. They don't naturally have to be fashionable because like nowadays, people don't want to see the most fashionable look in offices. All you have to do is wear some simple stuff I was actually reading an article about fashion, and one of the main thing was some work officers, I don't know, big bosses, said that they don't want to employ someone that is very fashionable. So that was like a big shock for me because I was like, why? And the main thing is they don't want to see that. All they want to see is a very simple, elegant look that can sell what they want to sell. So I think we can all dress up for the job we want. All you have to do is know what type of job you want. Thank you.
Very good. One more? We have time for one more.
Here it is.
Yeah, come on, John.
Alright.
John?
Oh, John's. I'll say the time, random.
Random. You already got it. Okay. If you could choose between if you had to choose between your head and your body, what would you choose and why?
What are the times on the light?
1 minute, it's green. 1.5, it's yellow. And 2, it's red.
Okay.
So you have to go to green at least.
I've got some time. Right?
Yeah, you got half a minute. Think about it.
If I had to choose between keeping my head or keeping my body, honestly, I would choose both. This is a very tough question to answer, and when you're as intelligent and as good-looking as I, you don't want to have to make these kind of decisions. Now I'm just going to keep talking until I see the lights go on, but I would not choose either if I had to make the decision. Why? Well, I need my brain to think. I'm a college student right now, and I have a lot of work to do. I need my body to get me places, and to get my head to do the thinking, and they kind of work with each other. So, one without the other would really put me in a tough spot. That is the end.
That wraps it up for our table topics. I enjoy everybody's creative answers today. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Timer, who qualified?
We have 8 speakers, everybody on who qualified. Marco, Jean, Will, Vera, Logan, Betsy, Amy, I believe, and Jack.
Johns.
John.
Johns. Okay. Thank you. Now, you guys, each of you should have a little slip. A little thin slip. Jean's holding it up right here, and now I am. This guy right here. Take this guy, where it says best table topics. I want you to vote for who you think did the best table topics response. Okay, everybody, let's welcome our table topics evaluator, Susanna.
How many people do you have?
I have about 7 people, I think.
Okay, so
And
we'll
we've
say-
worked out a timing agreement with the
people in the back.
How much you would say?
6 to 7.
Oh, that's too much.
Was it 5 to 6? Sorry, it was 5 to 6. I almost got away with an extra minute. Okay. Fellow members of Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home, it's a really great pleasure to evaluate the table topics for this evening. I would say it was an extraordinarily good selection of talks. First we had Marco, very short and sweet and very crystal clear. Habit to pick up, yes, he's had a lot of experience developing new habits, and his routine is pretty good. And he now has developed a habit of looking for opportunities to challenge himself, step out of his comfort zone, and then he was just illustrating that by his behavior. Very neat conclusion, very nicely tied package. Jean, most useless food. Yes, I think many of us could agree on cotton candy being the most useful. You had a useless. You had a fantastic use of gestures and sensory vividness to explain why cotton candy was such a terrible food, and a very excellent use of humor. Will, what law would you repeal, or what law would you change or put into place? Creating a sunset law, you came up with one. Where are you? You came up with one. You gave several examples of why it was a good idea, and then it was neatly concluded. So again, another nice, coherent little package. Mira, where would you go if you were going to be traveling? Again, you'd already had the travel experience. Europe is your favorite place. And then the examples of enjoying the different lifestyles, the old architecture, the different cuisines, etc. The variety of experience and how much you loved it. And then, yes, you would like to go back. So again, these very short speeches still manage to have sort of an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Logan, you chose nature as your topic, and you sort of stood the topic on its head in a sense. And you did it in a very effective way, and using lots of humor, and how you do everything possible to avoid connecting with nature, and how you received invitations, you turned them down, and again, a very effective talk. It's hard for me in any of these talks to figure out suggestions for improvement. I thought they were all so good. Betsy, where's Betsy? Who would you be for a day? Again, a beautiful talk, and your conclusion that you would just be yourself. And I thought your concluding sentence was incredibly effective, that you've worked so hard to find out who you are, that it would really be a waste to try to be somebody else. Very effective conclusion. And is it Ami? All right, style, fashion. Again, very confident. And in a way, you were embodying what you were talking about. You're very stylish. You have a very stylish presentation. And yes, you can it's very helpful to dress for what you're trying to do. But yet, many business people, you don't need to be an elaborately stylish person. You can just be simple. And then the nice conclusion that yes, you can do this, and then the thing is to know what job you want. Sort of a slightly different twist to have people think about it at the end. So that also was a very effective approach. Johnson.
John's.
Johns? Johns. Okay, sorry. Okay. Obviously, the question was pretty unmanageable as it was. So you had to sort of deal with that, and you did deal with that, and said there's no way to do one, have one without the other, and why, what you needed your head for, what you needed your body for, and then how you couldn't do without either one. A simple conclusion. So, I congratulate all of our table topics people today for very confident, effective, well-crafted topics for this evening. Okay.
Okay. Would you tell us who qualified for table topics this evening? Evaluators, I'm sorry.
Okay, we had 2 evaluators. No, we didn't have an evaluation. Oh, yes.
Will,
One speech.
Yes,
Will and
we have-
Susanna.
We have 2 qualified evaluators, Will and Susanna.
Okay, so they both qualified. Now, if you would take the rest of your slip, the one you used to vote for best table topics, we can vote for best evaluator tonight, and your choice is Will, raise your hand, Will, and Susanna. Raise your hand, Susanna. Okay, now we're ready. We're back. We're ready for our reports. We'll start with Art and his timer report.
Yes, Rick's speech was 11 minutes, 59 seconds. That was the prepared speech. In table topics, Marco spoke for 1 minute, 41 seconds. Jean, 1 minute, 53. Will, 1 minute, 29. Mira, 1 minute, 27. Logan, 1 minute, 7. Betsy, 1 minute, 44 seconds. Ami, 1:26. And Johns, 1:08. For evaluators, Will spoke for 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Susanna, 5 minutes, 52 seconds. That's my report.
Okay, thank you, Art. Our next report is from our grammarian, Jean.
I'll start with the word of the day. I'm feeling a little nauseated, actually. It wasn't used that much. But that just says that we're actually enjoying ourselves. Will used it twice correctly. He actually used it 3 times, but he was just getting warmed up on the first one. And I used it several times. Did anybody else use it that I don't? Rick used it. Rick used it. Okay, anyone else? All right, see, this is a listening exercise. Okay, good. Just want to make sure everyone's clear on the differences of those. In terms of some interesting usages, Will had some good word usage. You talked about sage evaluations. Just pop that out, Will. Frequent yeoman's effort. That was smoking. All right, Dennis said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That was really good for, it's very true. Mira talked about extravagant details in Europe, like extravagant and the details. He also used cuisine. I like that. Logan, he had some good word usage. I was laughing too much, actually, so I couldn't quite get that together. He had some really good contrasts, which was just wonderful. And Betsy, I'm making this up, but she had a lot of visual grammar. She was, doing stuff, and, like that. So it was visual grammar. Okay. And that was it. I didn't really hear any incorrect usages of grammar, which I'm usually very focused on. So congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Emery, I believe you're the all counselor this evening.
That I am. We have lots of people, so I'll talk as fast as I can. Rick, one false start. Jean, one like, 2 you knows, 5 so's, 4 ands, 1 false start, and 1 okay. I added the okay category. We were hearing a lot of that tonight. Art, 1 so. Santoria, 2 uhs or ahs, 1 false start. Dennis, 1 1 Oh, you had 3 okays, by the way. Marco, 1 Mira, 1 1 so, 1 Xerox, or repeat, start a sentence and then start it again. Logan, 2 so's, 2 ands. Betsy, 1 1 so. Ami, am I saying that right? Nothing, I'm sorry. John, 3 uhs, 3 ums, 1 so, 2 ands. Susanna, 2 you knows, 2 so's, 2 ands, and 1 okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, calling back to the stage again, our joke master for this evening.
Who has delegated it
Oh, I'm sorry,
to
Dan.
Dan, yes.
There was a lion in the jungle. He woke up feeling great. He said, I'm going to go around the jungle and make sure everybody knows that I'm the king. So he's walking around, he runs into a zebra, says, Mr. Zebra, who is the king of the jungle? And the zebra says, you are our lion. He said, "Rah, that's right." He comes across a giraffe. He said, Giraffe, who is the king of the jungle? The giraffe says, you are a lion. "Rah, that's right." Then he comes across an elephant. He says, Mr. Elephant, who is the king of the jungle? The elephant grabs him with his trunk, bounces him back and forth on the ground. He bounces him back and forth on trees. He winds him up and he throws him 50 yards through the air. He lands in a cloud of dust. The lion gets up and brushes himself off and says, you don't have to get mad because you don't know the answer.
Oh, okay, so now I'm going to evaluate the evaluators. We had 2 evaluators tonight, Will and Susanna, and they both did a terrific job. Will, I thought your evaluation was very theatrical. You always use great words. You projected your voice nicely, and you went into detail what you liked about the speech. What I also appreciated about your evaluation is you used a technique that you had learned from Rick about what you could do differently if you figure out what you could do, someone could do differently if you're having problems figuring out what they could do, which better or something. And it's just a very slight variation, but I thought that was very useful, and I'm sure everyone here is going to have a chance to evaluate, and I hope everyone takes the opportunity to use that approach, because I found it very enlightening. Like, oh yeah, wow, that makes sense. You don't have to. It wasn't necessarily wrong, but if they did it differently, just to try. Susanna, wow, you had a lot of people to evaluate, and what you really excelled in doing was recapping all the different speeches. You did a very good job at that. It just made it very clear, which can be confusing with so many people who said what. Because usually, I know, I tend to forget if it's more than like 3 people. I also felt that you were very, I don't want to just say nice, but you spoke in a way that was very comforting, and I felt that you were sure to praise, you made sure to praise everybody in a way that made them feel like, oh, this is something I could do again. So you did a very good job at that. One thing I would say maybe to improve on is, just try next time to just touch on little things, because every speaker can improve on something, and even if it just seems small, it will help. And finally, I would like to say you did a very nice conclusion. You showed your appreciation to everyone who participated, and I just felt that was a very nice touch. So that's my evaluation on the evaluators tonight. Thank you. So I would like to call back to the front Jean, tonight's Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. All right, it's time to announce some winners. Now that means, okay, so with our guests, so we have this thing, it's a drum roll on your thighs. Have you done this before? Okay, it's like this. Okay. Yeah, you can do sides if you like. Yeah, you can do syncopated if you want, but it's usually like that. Okay, so that's that. So we had a little dress rehearsal there. And now we'll announce our winners. Our best evaluator tonight, Susanna.
Don't get away.
Are you done?
No.
See, okay, so we always practice receiving awards because we're all going to get a lot in our lives. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And for our table topics winner, Logan. Now, should I tell him about the prize that he's won? You get a special camping overnight at the reservoir at Waterworks Park.
I'm going to buy you a tent.
Okay, very good. All right, I think at this point we're ready to close out our meeting and then have our president come back up and bring us on home.
Thank you, Jean. Any of the guests have any thoughts about the meeting? Anything you liked? You can give a speech, but you can't answer a question? When I joined Toastmasters, I knew from knowing people in Toastmasters that it was a way to develop your communication skills. And I wasn't surprised when I found that was true. But I was surprised at two things. The first is how supportive everyone is in the club. When you come, everyone's on your side, everyone's rooting for you to succeed. And I think an example of that was Susanna's evaluation speech for table topics, most of whom were people who had given speeches before, but she was very supportive, very nourishing, very uplifting. And the other thing I was surprised at was how much fun I have at Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a hoot. And we talked about, well, getting new members into the club, what an experience that is. And we just experienced it now. You people just gave great speeches, great table topics, and every time at Toastmasters we have a lot of fun. We get to be creative in our speeches. It's a very supportive environment. So I want to thank you all for coming. I'd like to see you back again. Again, I'll see you next year at the same time. And if there's no further business, yes.
You didn't get your award for speaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll present this to myself, congratulate myself. You can save the pictures for later. So thank you all for coming. And yes.
I would like to hear how Santoria did with her stand-up.
Yes, I was going to ask you, how'd you do? But Santoria's a stand-up comic, and she just entered a competition. Why don't you tell us about it?
Thank you. I participated in the first round of the Freshest Comic competition in Iowa City, and I'm glad to announce that I came in third place, which means I go on to the finals, which are April 28th at the Yacht Club.
Great.
I think there were 14 people competing.
I was fortunate enough to watch Santoria dominate the stage. She did very well. I'd say I've been to a couple different stand-up sessions before, back in my hometown when I was in college, and I'd say they had remarkably good taste compared to those guys up north. Santoria.
Thank you.
Now, Toastmasters may not make you a stand-up comic, but it couldn't hurt. Thank you. Declare the meeting adjourned.